Habari gani, karibuni. Sorry y'all for that delay. We were having technical difficulties. As you can see, Oladile is in Nigeria. The children are in Kenya. We're trying to navigate these borders, and it's proving to be a challenge, but we are made for this. So karibuni, we moved here because for those of you followers of the Imagine Our Cable and on LinkedIn, I know that's where we do our collaborations. Sorry about this, but we said we're not going to walk away and not have anything. So we're going to have something. If we have another space where we can have it, this is where we moved. My name is Nduku, the host of Kumbukeni, joining my brother Oladile. I'm an Ubuntu woman, passionate about reclaiming our way of Ubuntu and reclaiming our narrative, giving voice to those who have been silenced for years, for way too long. And we are now jichaguliaring, right? Tunajichagulia. That's one of the principles of Nguzo Saba, kujichagulia, and saying that we're going to counter the false narrative that the Western media has propagated against Africans and Africa for way too long. Dugo Oladile.
Hi, everybody. Like Undeku said, we do apologize for those who follow us on the Imagine Kebelen technical issues, but we're now on YouTube, so follow us live on YouTube. My name is Oladile Dosumum. I'm the co-founder of Imagine Kebelen. We're about decolonizing the minds and awakening the consciousness of our Kebelen brothers and sisters. Today, we're celebrating Malcolm X. It's 99 years of his birthday, isn't it? Not 100 years.
It's 100.
1925. No, it's 1925. Is it
I'm
100?
sorry?
It's 1925. It's 99 years.
Oh, so next year will be the 100?
Yes.
Hold on 1 minute.
Yes.
Go ahead. Let's
Yeah.
introduce
So,
figure out.
okay. So we're celebrating Malcolm X's birthday today, actually. Anyway, children, if you want to introduce yourselves to our audience, just if you want to introduce yourselves, children in Freedom School, they're going to be telling us a lot about Malcolm X, his legacy, his vision, and what he stands for. Go ahead, children.
Hello, my name is Otieno Toby, and this is the Children in Freedom team. We are celebrating the
Sorry, go on.
100th anniversary. We're celebrating the birthday of Malcolm X. We are remembering when he was born in 1925. Maybe the crew can say hello.
Hello.
Hello, guys. Nice to have you on board. Okay, Wendiku, you want to lead with this?
I don't have to, brother, but you can. So yes, 99 years. We're so eager to celebrate Mzee Omowale.
Yeah.
I was all about 100, right? But one thing
I was
like,
researching. I was thinking 1925. Man. So I was thinking, okay.
Right? Again, that's math. It's a discussion for another day. Walimu are with us on the call, so you see, I need some extra sessions of math. So we'll schedule those. So one thing I'm proud of us about today, not just today, and not just us, Kumbukeni and the Imagine Al Kelbulan, but everyone I'm seeing online who is in our community of Wana Ubuntu, is that we've taken action and decided to celebrate Mzee Omowale ourselves and not wait for the system to do that. And it makes me very, very happy to see young people on the back at home, which is the continent, right? Back at home, learning about Malcolm X, who was abroad, right? Because we did not grow up learning about Malcolm X, Ndugu Oladile. I don't know about you. Did you grow up learning about Malcolm X in school in Nigeria?
No, I did not. I only learned about him very, very recently.
Yeah, right. I learned about Nancy Drew. Yes. I learned about the Queen of England. I remember when Princess Diana died, we had to like watch the whole session all day in my school. I went to school in Kilungu. It's called Precious Blood Kilungu in high school. That's when she died. So we learned about white people and didn't learn about our revolutionaries who are abroad,
We learned
which is
about
very
Julius Caesar.
Yeah. So I'm happy that we are having this conversation today and we are celebrating. It's in the spirit of Malcolm X's Pan-African side, where he embraced and he made it very clear that without Africa being freed, the rest of us are not going to be freed. So we have to free Africa before. And he was talking specifically then to the brothers and sisters within the borders of the United States, saying that you should be invested in helping Africa free themselves. So children, let's take it from there. Children, and I don't know how you want to do this, Mwalimu Mwangi, but we can go one child at a time. Let's start by talking about what have you learned so far in preparation for this event about Malcolm, and what stood out to you, and how are you going to implement what you learned in your own life moving forward?
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
I'm from grade 7, and the thing I learned about Malcolm X is he was an activist who never feared bring out the potential in the blacks, and he knew that the whites feared us more when we were when we were learning than when we were in circuses and playing around, and what I can implement from him is that it's never too late to change and turn over a new leaf, and education is the most powerful thing you can use to change the world.
Nice. That's a good one. Yes. Education. And as you speak about that, our dear young one, Malcolm X, like I told you all when we were sitting in preparation, when he was young, he went to his teacher and said he wanted to be a lawyer. And the teacher told him he would never be a lawyer. And so Malcolm, when he changes and decides to take a different route in life after going to prison, he embarks on learning, educating himself, self-education, and he learns through people like John Henry Clark. Right? He connects with elders in the community who helped him, provided books when he needed them, provided resources for him when he needed them. And that's something that, yes, you as children can learn. You connect with the right elders and let them provide that educational material for you. And another thing too, speaking of education, you don't need to go to school. I'm not saying don't go to school because I don't want to get in trouble with your parents, but education is beyond the school walls, right? Education is also once you get home, you continue to learn. All right, who else? Unless Oladele has something to say about that.
Yeah, I'll let the kids go, and I've got a few bits that I'm going to share, but I'll let the kids go first, yeah, because I've got quite a few quotes that I sent, so we're going to talk about those. Who's next?
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Giangelo Cavana, 6, Patrice Lumumba, and what I can say about Malcolm X, that he was speaking against violence and talking about racism, that we shouldn't be slaves of the whites. We should be ourselves. We should embrace our black skin. We should love our culture, love where we are from, and not learn what they learn in their schools. Should also make our own schools and learn what they're learning. And what he said that education is the passport to the future, or tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. And what that means to me is that whatever I can do here in school is I can take it somewhere else and teach more and more people about it.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you for that. Who's the next person? Can you guys be closer to the mic?
My name is
Can you
Wanjiko.
get closer to the mic? Okay.
My name is
Okay, go
Wanjiko from grade 6. My
Okay.
name is Wanjiko from grade 6, Miss Lumumba. What I learned from Malcolm X is that he risked his own life just to learn to protest about the racism and to make the black people become more known up to the world. And I'll implement that by knowing that he risked his own life and yeah.
Yes, he
Yes,
did.
thank you very much.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, my name is Wangare
Yeah, hello.
from grade 6, Patrice Lumumba class. And what I learned from Malcolm X is that he was a very brave man, and he he was very passionate in not allowing black people to be treated badly, to be treated as slaves, to be like the whites were very. They thought that they had more power than the blacks, but it's because the blacks didn't know how much power they had. And Malcolm X really tried when he was still alive to really show them the truth about the world.
Fantastic.
My
Yeah, Malcolm X's life was about. Okay, sorry. Who's gonna go next?
My name is Chepkemo Shari from Mishere Gedei Mugo class, Form 1. And what I learned about Malcolm X is that he fought for justice for the Black Americans, which can also be classified as African Americans. What I knew about this great man is that in one of his speeches, he was asked whether he was afraid of death, and he said that he's already a dead man. This means that you should never fear to do the right thing. Thank you.
Absolute. I love that. So basically, when you believe in something, you need to stick to it and see it through. Don't let fear hold you back. I love that. Thank you very much. Okay, who's next?
Hello, my name is Ulide from Form 2, Makasgavi class, and what I learned about Malcolm X is that he loved his people, because in one of his speech he said that no matter how much respect or recognition is being given by the white people, and as far as he's concerned, and that respect and go for him. So that means that he was very passionate and he loved his people, and he was very tired to struggle for the independence of the black people. Thank you.
Yes.
Hello,
Thank you
Yes.
very
my
much.
name is
Thank
Egos. Hello, my name is Egosi Milan from Professor Michelle Gizai Mugo's class, Form 1, and what I have learned from Malcolm X is it is never too late to take the right path. So there is a wise saying that goes like, there is nothing like returning to a place that remains unchanged to find the ways in which you yourself can act. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Brilliant.
Hello, my name is Nyatundo Mark from Form 1 Mishere Mugo class. And what I've learned from this great black man is that we should be fearless. We are black. We should love ourselves. Remember that the most potent weapon in the hand of an oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. So if we remain oppressed, we'll just die and leave our country behind. So Malcolm X said that if a white man owns a house and doesn't want to clean it, then it shall be burnt down to ashes. So as Africans, we should be proud of ourselves, because which other African or black man has ever been shot 25 bullets? Only a black man has done that. This is because they feared him. We are black. We fear. The whites must respect us. Thank you.
Look at you.
Hello. My
Spirit
name
of Malcolm.
Hello.
Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Hello, my name is Otieno Ian from Asgari class Form 2. The two most important things that outstood from this great man: fear and giving up. So, as you can see, Malcolm X overcame fear. He fought for what is right. He fought for the blacks. So, I think what I can implement in the future by becoming the president of Kenya is fighting for our minerals, fighting for the black man, and we'll make it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Huge ambitions there.
Hello, my name is Otieno Toby.
Go on, Otieno. Sorry, Pole.
Hello, my name is Otieno Toby. This great man, Malcolm X, he taught people to eradicate the false narrative that they had been told. He taught black people to realize that they were not useless. They taught them to unleash the potential that the whites had seen in them, and they were trying to hide it from them. He taught people to open up their mind, to start thinking that we are the leaders, we are the revolutionaries, we are the visionaries and the people who are expected to bring change in this world. If we unite and be one as the black people, we'll be a great force and will be a great bargaining power towards the world. Something that the white people had been hiding from the blacks. So what I learned, what I can implement from this man is by imitating his Ubuntu spirit and telling all Africans to eradicate the false narrative they had been told and realize that they are lions, they are great, and they are revolutionary leaders. Thank you.
Hello, everyone there. Yes, I think I can sum up whatever our student have said by putting this and remain. Always remain true to who you are. And even it is high time Africans learn to take their position regardless of any hindrances that come in between their positions. They take their position because and avoid seeing themselves as an inferior, but rather see them as a superior, because whatever is in us, or whatever Malcolm X realized is in him, it was the driving force, the truth that was in him. Regardless of being seen as one lesser person, he had to see him as the one who is there or carries the power. The spirit in him should drive the current society, the current generation that we are raising. When I see students like this one carrying that spirit, I know our tomorrow is going to change because of whatever we are trying to raise here in our school. Let it be the message going out there, because I think this is our tomorrow's generation, and if they carry that spirit, things have to change.
I am so glad you said that, Mwalimu Maina, because as I was listening to the children, I could hear Malcolm's spirit coming through them. I could definitely hear Malcolm's spirit coming through them. Some of those brothers right now, those young men in there, yeah, they're ready. Oladele. So, Oladele, go ahead before I go on. Oh my goodness, Oladele is frozen. Tinubu has taken Oladele's connection. All right. So, one of the things that Malcolm talks about. Are you back? Okay, good. Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm back.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
One of the things, based on what the kids are saying, and Malcolm X's legacy is basically self-determination, self-empowerment, education, and self-identity. Mm-hmm. And the kids are
a lesson children to learn today, right? The forces of the world are always coming against you. We call them in Kiubuntu. Changamoto za maisha. All right, Oladile, why don't you go out and come back in? Because it's choppy. So just go out and come back in.
Well,
Right. Yeah. Okay, children. So let's continue. Malcolm, one of the things that he focuses on, and I think I'd like us to start here because this is a big one. One of the main things that he talks about is the fact that revolution is grounded on acquiring land, right? And any movement that does not focus on acquiring land is not a revolution, or should not call it itself a revolution. He was speaking this specifically to our brothers and sisters within the borders of the United States, comparing it to the fact that they were asking for the right to sit next to white men, for the right to use the toilet with a white man, for the right to drink from the same fountain as the white man, instead of asking for land. And he said, yes, you're going to get all those, but without asking for the land where you can provide food for yourself, you can provide shelter, and all those other things that comes with owning land, you really are not changing your lifestyle. Children, what do you think about that, the importance of land in a community? Some of you have Shosho and Guka. You go visit them. Oladile, you're back? Give me a thumbs up. Some of you have Shosho and Guka. You go visit them. You go get ndoma, peas. I know when I was growing up in Kenya, my father, even to this day, sends my sisters in the city all the harvest that they get bananas, you get avocados, you get a whole sack of mangoes. So what is the importance of land to you all? Yes, feel free to jump in. Anyone who has a thought. Yes.
Okay, so the importance of land, according to my roots, are in my village. If you have land, it means that you are rich and wealthy, and you can provide for the entire village as a form of charity. Mm-hmm. and also beyond, and it means that your village will be well represented according to the state you are, or according to me. I'm from Chalbi Desert.
Uh-huh.
So my grandparents, they used to own a lot of land. Mm-hmm. So it used to represent a village. But unfortunately, it got infected by a plague, and they unfortunately had to sell all of the land.
So the animals were infected by a plague, and he needed to sell the land to get more money, right? Who else has thoughts on the land?
The importance of land can be so many. There's building a house, there's farming, there's also you can find minerals. Every land is special in their own way. At my place, we have a land that is passed from generation, an ancestral land, and we are planning to build a house. So to me, the importance of land can just be in so many different ways. To others, it can be used in minerals. You can find minerals in certain lands, such as diamonds, gold, every kind of mineral. That's the importance of land to me. Thank you.
As for me, the importance of land is like Africa. We say, and as an example, Africa. Without Africa, we are not Africans. So Africa is our mother. The land of Africa is where we hail from. The land of Africa was left to us by our great ancestors. We can't abandon our land, us as Africans. So that's the importance of land as land to Africans. Land is a very important thing to Africans. Land in the past was considered as a source of wealth. And land also showed originality. When a man in the past owned the land, then that means he had an origin, a place where the ancestors will be coming, the offspring of that person will be coming and saying, here is where our ancestors live. Also, land helps us to grow the indigenous crops, such as nduma that we have just been saying, which are very nutritious. And the whites do not want Africans to realize that. They just want us to use the fertilizers to destroy our own land. So, land also has vast variety of minerals, which are very important to our wealth and riches as Africa.
Thank
To
you.
me-
Thank you so much. Go on. Go on.
To me, land is my origin. Land is my roots. For a tree to grow, it needs land. So if I lose my land, that means that I don't comprehend my origin. If I don't comprehend my origin, that means I don't comprehend my identity. If I don't comprehend my identity, that simply means I am nothing. So to me, land is basically my roots. I need to fight for my ancestral land because it is my roots. It is my identity. Thank you.
Asante, asante. Anyone else before we move to the next one? Anyone else want to add to the land? All right. So something else that Mzee Omowale, Malcolm X says is you cannot hate the roots of a tree and not hate the tree. And again, this was also something he was saying to our brothers and sisters within the borders of the United States. But this is something that can also be said to very, very many of our brothers and sisters at home on the continent, on our motherland today, who see the West as better than Africa, right? They want to get the genes from the United States. They want to get the shoes from the United States. They want to get this and that from the United States and not promote business within, not promote Juakali, right? You all have Juakali. Instead of buying a pot in a fancy store, you go to Juakali and you get your pots. When I was growing up, that's where we got our items. So he says this, and he says you cannot hate Africa and not hate yourself. What do you all think about this statement by Malcolm X? What are your thoughts? Do you think yes, Tafadhali, go on.
Okay. So, what I think Malcolm X meant by that is, why are you investing all of your money in American businesses? For example,
Nike, Levi.
for example, you're investing in those instead of coming back all the way to Africa and investing in African companies. You in your mindset thinking that Africa is poor, Africa has no future. They are all thieves. But right now, ever since a recent president called Ibrahim Traore
Hey, Burkina Faso, right?
said, he said, if you think we are so useless, why don't we stop you from taking our minerals? And presidents like Joe Biden are trying to stop that from happening. So if they think we are so poor, they stop borrowing from us.
Thank you so much. Remind me again what grade you are in.
I'm in grade 7.
Good. So for the
class.
For the community who are sitting with us today, and we talk about the importance, and Malcolm does say this, the importance of education, but we have to understand what education Malcolm is talking about, right? So the importance of our own education, where we control the curriculum, where we build the curriculum, where we are teaching based on our needs and our the resources we need to build in the community. The importance of it, where a child like this 7th grade is able to identify a president in Africa by name, right? Ibrahim Traore, and able to see what he's doing and quote him, and also able to see what a president in another nation in the West is trying to do to put barriers in that progress. This is something we could not do back in the day when we were under the colonial system, where we could look at, you literally are seeing what Walter Rodney puts in How Europe Underdeveloped Africa, and the teachers, your teachers, Mwalimu Maina and Mwalimu Mwangi. We're gonna be sending that book to you, so that hopefully you have Walter Rodney as your next person, or in the future. You are literally living Walter Rodney's dream, my young one, our young one, because you're identifying, which is what he wanted you to do by writing this book, the things that are happening that keep us from growing, right? For example, Ibrahim Traore wants to liberate his nation, and the United States president is trying to stop him from that. This is what he's talking about. Asante. Who else on this? You cannot love the root. And what he's talking about is because our brothers and sisters within the United States came from Africa. So that's their roots, right? That is their ancestry. And therefore, they cannot hate Africa and not hate themselves, whether they know it or not. The two, you hate Africa, you're hating yourself, whether you know it or not. So what can you say about that? And even for the people in Africa who hate African, you can hear it in the way they talk, right? You can hear it in the way they talk. There's no future for Africa. We're not going anywhere. Hata hatuna maendeleo. Angalia venye America wanaendelea na sisi hatuendelei, right? You hear people saying that. What do you think about that? Someone else. Now we need to call the crickets to come in the room because there's silence. Anyone have a question? So it's not only just what do you think, but do you, if you have a question, if you want to understand the question better, if you want to understand the comment better. So yes, let's also do that. If you have a question or a comment.
Okay, so right now, as we're speaking, people are saying Africa has no future. But right now, there is a boy in Ghana who has made a car from scratch, and he has taught himself in engineering. So, which means he understood it better, but in the America's side, you have to buy expensive parts, all of these, made it from scratch.
Right? And it shows our capability, despite the fact that they have lied to us that we're not capable. Very, very good observation. Why do you think people, our own people, hate Africa? Like, why do we think our own people who are Africans hate Africa? Why do you think?
Some Africans do hate Africa because they were told false narratives. Some of them were told that Africans are not great, Africans are useless, Africans cannot change the world. Just the same way Malcolm X was also told by the teacher that you cannot be a lawyer as an African. So this fact makes some Africans to see themselves as worthless. So they do not see the value that they hold. So they start diminishing themselves and referring to the whites as more powerful. And they start bleaching their skin so that they can become white, so that they can become powerful, yet they do not know the intelligence that they are losing, the value that they are losing by doing that because of what they were just doing.
Great observation. Who else? Why do you think? Go on.
Another reason why.
Go on, Mbide. I remember Mbide and Chepkemoy's name. I don't remember everyone else's name, but I remember Mbide and Chepkemoy. But Mbide, go on.
Another reason as to why Africans hate Africa is because they lack the knowledge about Africa. They don't understand the capability that Africans have. They don't know what Africans have. They don't know about the great people in Africa, and they don't also recognize themselves as great people because they were told that they cannot do it. Yes.
Thank you.
This might also be led by being that we have like other people have already started to follow them, this getting to influence other people about the things that are there, being like that they like things that are there. Nowadays you hear that somebody is getting education so that he can go abroad as fast as he or she can. That may lead to other people, also many people getting to go there, not knowing that their capabilities are the higher ones, now not knowing that they are the inventors. Not only us getting to be the ones who get minerals and anything else that we need, we don't lack anything, but they get us they get our mindset, other people's mindset. We don't know who they are to get there, to get knowing that there is their home, knowing that their home is here, and if we get united, we can make everything happen. Not only make everything happen, because people have dreams. Africans have dreams, but knowing that the people of Africa, you can just dream, imagine, or even make something in your mind, and then it will never appear. That makes them their dreams get killed, and they will never maybe a day get to think about them. Now we can talk about other people that I was following about these airlines, about everything. These people there are many kids that are trying to follow up with that, but sometimes there's nobody to do there's no internet for them to get to follow up. Others are even not, they don't have the need to tell themselves that there is something that we can get to reach that is better and so sometimes we get that we as Africans, we fail because of knowing that we can't. Not bothering, we don't bother to know who can help, who can get us started. And that gets us, that gets our dreams to get down, and we can get shut down faster. But if we are many, and one of us tries to do something, and then we hold the hands, we take it together, we can do it.
Yes. Thank you so much. So, what do you all think are solutions we can take to help our brothers and sisters who hate Africa, who hate themselves. What do you think we as a community, what are solutions we can implement to change that in the community, to change, let me not give you the answers, but yes, what do you think are the solutions?
So the first solution to that problem is just mind decolonization. Because when these Europeans come to Africa, they started by colonizing our minds. Since they knew that the most potent weapon on their hands, it was our minds as the oppressed. They used that chance to colonize our minds, make us think that we are nothing, make us forget about our old heroes. Imhotep, he did great jobs. No one recognizes him. They just took all our greatness and gave it to themselves. We should just decolonize our minds and start thinking greatly as Africans. Thank you.
Asante sana. Who else?
Also, I think that we are many in the school. We cannot only try to reach them in a way in TV, televisions. There are people who don't have, but in this school we come from far away places. So even my sister, they used to call me Wycliffe, but then I tried to tell them my name is not Wycliffe. Again, they told me that I'm calling my they are calling my brother. I'm calling my brother Kamau when they are used to Vincent. Even if you can call him here, I can justify that. They are saying that we are the school have made us try to get our names in Africa, and my aunt appreciated that. So from that, I learned that we are more than enough to do this. We can still do it not only from television but also from live. We can talk to people by ourselves, making this thing get more and more of. They used to call me elephant, and then there came a day when I went to Nairobi when they started calling me Wycliffe. Then I told him my name elephant is back because my name is Jobu, who that means elephant. So I tried to tell them that my elephant name is back. So we can just try to talk with them. The more we talk with them, the more we inspire them about Africans, who we are, and who we can if we unite. So that makes me know that in this school we are from very many places. So if we want to change something, we can do it as fast as we can. Only if we have the mindset to do it. Thank you.
Hey man, this is a young man who has a promising future ahead of him because he knows who he is. He is not embarrassed about his African name, and he not only is not embarrassed about his African name, but he's also confident enough to defend it, right? To step up and tell those who try to define who he is, no, you're not going to define me. I'm telling you, this is who I am. So he's defining himself. So remind me your name again.
My name is Njogu.
Njogu, and your brother that came before you, remind me his name.
Kamau.
So Kamau, I was going to say Njogu, thank you. Kamau, I was going to say, and I'll recommend this to your teachers too, if as you talk about decolonizing our minds, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, who is a Kenyan, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, wrote the book Decolonizing the Mind. A great book, teachers. So look into that. That's another book that you all need to bring in that space. And Ngugi wa Thiong'o, another thing he does as we continue to talk about embracing ourselves as Africans, like Malcolm is encouraging us, is he decides at one point he's no longer going to write in English. He writes in Kikuyu or Kiswahili, right? Kiubuntu, as we call it, because Kiswahili means it's the language of the Swahili people, and we all know that the language existed before the Swahili people, because the Swahili people are descendants of the Arabs, right? And the Arabs were not there when Kiubuntu was formed, which is why we are stopping calling it Kiswahili and calling it Kiubuntu. But a topic for another day. Ngugi wa Thiong'o, Decolonizing the Mind, all right? That's another book. And you don't have to wait for your teachers to assign you these books. We're talking about Malcolm, right? So if your parents can get this book, you just send a message to your parents. Instead of asking for a phone, or asking for some sneakers from Nike, you say, Dad, Mom, can you please get me the book Decolonizing the Mind by Ngugi wa Thiong'o? And you start reading ahead, right? So that in case your teachers assign it, that's one advantage. You already know the material. But on top of that, for yourself, you're starting to develop how you think and how you see yourself and how you see your community. And it's very important. Who else? What are the other solutions? Someone else has any suggestion on this issue of hating Africa and hating oneself? One more, and then we can move to the next one. So I have Njogo, I have Kamau, I have Mbibe, and I have Chikoi. I know 4. So good progress.
So this great man named Ngugi wa Thiong'o has really, that's my favorite. Actually, that is my favorite book, Decolonization of the Mind. I've learned how to appreciate myself as an African, to know my true identity, to fight for my culture, to know everything about me is in me, not about what they say, but all that is in me. I should not be ashamed of anything. It should just be me and me alone. It's me and me in myself. I know myself more than anyone knows. So I should just decolonize my mind in what the Europeans came and told us. They colonized our minds with many corrupt things. They brought for us many things such that they can make us lose our identity as Africans. But we, in this school, we stand strong. We are bringing the greatness back to Africa. Thank you.
Asante.
Maybe I can add something.
Yes, please.
So, funny enough, you're talking about Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Currently, where we are now is our library. It's named after him.
Hey, look at this.
So it's just a coincidence. Also, I think it was last year we were able to have some meetings with him, and also he was able to educate our students. There were Zoom meetings, and he talked about his books and how he decided to stop using English because it's not his language, and having a PhD in English and literature, decided that just be using his African language, which is Kikuyu. I think that is very powerful, and we can even see what has happened to him because he's not even living in his own country for various reasons. Was the government against what he's doing, what he's writing? Okay, and I think this is quite powerful, and these students understood that it's good to be open-minded. It's good to open your mind. It's good to stop the say as it is. Okay, and the moment you know yourself, you understand your origin, you understand your purpose also. So yeah.
It's interesting you say that because it's a great segue to the next comment, the next quote from Malcolm X, right? As we sit in the Ngugi wa Thiong'o library, that is huge and great. I'm glad to hear that you all had sessions with him, with Mwalimu Ngugi in that capacity, and he shared his story. And something I want to say before we move on to the quote is, this is something that also I encourage the teachers and the directors of the school to look into, where we start critically analyzing our government, right? We as the people, so that we come and defend our revolutionaries. We should ask ourselves, for a government to deny Ngugi wa Thiong'o the right to stay in his home because he wanted to embrace his language, our culture, that is a questionable thing for an African country and an African government. And we as Wana Ubuntu should hold that government accountable and say, what are we really standing for if we cannot stand by our languages and you're punishing someone who writes in them for making that choice? So that's a point there I wanted to leave. But as you say, you make that point, we segue to his quote, I am for truth, no matter who tells it. I am for justice, no matter who it is for and against. So children, what do you think about this statement? I am for truth. What is Malcolm telling us in this statement?
What he's telling us in this statement is that he doesn't want lies about his African home, that he's a black, his culture. He doesn't want any of those lies. He wants to know the truth of himself and other black Americans or Africans. And he's telling us that we should embrace that truth that we know, pass the information to generations of generations, so that everyone can know the truth of who they are, what they stand for, and what they love, what culture they are, everything they know apart from the lies. Thank you.
Great. Who else?
Anonymous, what he told us in one of his speeches is, he asked the black Americans, do you think that your name was Will or John? And those others, back from your motherland, the original name was given to you as a sign of your uniqueness and your characteristics.
Yes, and we know, being Ubuntu Africans, that our name, a lot of our names describe who we are, right? If you are a fighter, your name is saying that. If you are someone who liked to read, it might say that. If you're someone who worked very hard, it says that. If you're a runner, your name said that, right? Depending on what your parents saw in you when you were born, they named you that name. And some of them, if it was at night, you were named after the night because you were born at night. If it was in the morning, you were named after the morning. So very important. Our names always have stories. And with that also goes the caution not to short them, right? You have people who want to call you, if you're called, for example, Nduko, Ndux, right? No, you're changing the meaning of my name by shortening it, right? So very, very important. Who else on the truth?
So Malcolm X wanted Africans to know the truth about themselves. He wanted to teach people the value they had. No matter the opposition he was facing from the whites, he was ready to stand for the truth. He was ready to make Africans realize that whatever they are carrying in them, whatever spirit is in them, whatever value that is in them can change anything in this world. So he wanted Africans to know that even if the whites were lying to them, they are still great. They still have value in them. They still have future in them. They still have revolution in them, and they have leadership in them.
Yes. Anyone else on speaking truth? I am for truth, no matter who tells it.
Yeah, that's simply knowing yourself. So if you know yourself, that's the beginning of everything that you're about to do. So knowing that who you are, who you really are, so that makes you have get in another pace of doing what you want to do. So that means that that's a great start. When you know yourself, when you know what you are or you are up to, that is the best, because now you know who you are, what you are up to, and which goal you are going for. So being a start that you know yourself, you appreciate who you are, you know the truth, you know where you come from, who you really should appreciate and where you should go and who you should follow. That is the like a starting point. So thank you.
Thank you so much. So we're going to do one more, and then what we're going to do with the remaining minutes is look at the chat for questions, but not just that. Before we look at the chat for questions, we're going to talk about what your teachers have planned for you in the semester, right? Let's talk about that. But before we do that, Malcolm X says, a man who stands for nothing will fall for anything. A man who stands for nothing will fall for anything. What do you think he's saying about that? Man who stands, and by man, it's not just man, right, children? He's also woman. Anyone who stands for nothing will fall for anything.
So what Malcolm X was trying to tell us is that we should remind ourselves that the tenet of the black consciousness, which was held by Steve Biko, it just simply states that it is the basic tenet of a black man to never leave, to not just implement anything that can make him a foreigner in his home of birth or his motherland. So he's trying to tell us that we should always stand for truth, because if you can't stand for that truth, you're standing for nothing and you'll fall for anything that comes in. If the Europeans come and colonize your mind that you are just useless, you'll just fall for that useless. You will just live to know that you are useless. You can't do nothing. So you should just stand and put your stance very well that you are a black man, you are a black woman. What you should do is just know yourself. Do what is compatible with what other Africans do. Our great heroes died because of this colonization of our minds. So we should just adjust to what Africans have to live like. We should just be united. We should always love each other. You can't kill a man of your own, a man of your flesh, just to make those Europeans satisfied. Africans ourselves, we assassinated Muammar Gaddafi just because of colonization of our minds. We should set our minds to know that this is good and this is bad. We should just be great. We should act as Africans. Let the Europeans see that we are united, and they will do nothing about that, because they will see, even if they try to manipulate one of us, we are always there for them. We are always caring. We are always loving. So we should just put the same energy. We should love our people. We should love our greatness and value it. Thank you.
Look at you, Kamau. Look at you. That is definitely the spirit of Malcolm coming through you. Who else?
So, this a man who stands for nothing will fall for anything. The Africans could not stand for themselves so that their minds could be decolonized. That is why they fell for the lies of the colonizers. These colonizers made them realize how weak they are, but they could not see the capability they had. They could change Africa in just a minute. Yes.
That's our frustration. Let me come back in. That's our frustration, right? Because it is so simple. It takes just a change of mindset to stand for who you are and not be fearful, not be compromising, not be accommodating. What do I mean by that? Not let the fear. Yes, we all have fear, but don't let the fear control how you behave, right? Because yes, I'm scared. I don't want to be killed like Lumumba was killed. I don't want to be killed like Sankara was killed. I don't want to be abused physically like why am I forgetting her name? Wangari Maathai was abused, right, by the Kenyan government. All those things, we don't want it. We don't want physical harm on ourselves, and therefore we have fear. It's healthy, but we don't let that fear take away our stance for humanity. We don't let that fear take away our speaking the truth about what is wrong. We don't let, when we say we don't want to be accommodating, right? For a lot of you will work in companies where there are white people. You will be in spaces where there are white people. Living in the West, one of the things we see and we are exposed to is being in rooms where they want you to behave a certain way so that you can get access, right? So you accommodate by doing what they want. You accommodate them. And we're saying, no, Malcolm is saying, no, you need to say to them, no, you're going to hire me because of who I am. I am not going to change to who you want me to be. I have skills, I am qualified, but I will come as Kamau, I'll come as Mbide, I'll come as Shepkemoi, I'll come dressed in my African attire, I will come, if I want to eat fufu in the office, I will eat fufu, and that's who I am, right? And you will treat me with respect. So that's another thing. Who else on this? You have to stand for, if you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything.
So
I think what he meant was.
We'll go next, brother. Don't worry. But go ahead. Yes, go ahead, young man.
A long time ago, it used to be illegal to teach blacks. So it means that shows how much the whites were afraid of our capabilities. But a person, an African American called George Washington Carver, his hunger for knowledge inspired other African Americans. For example, Booker T. Washington, he used to learn a lot of new things that the whites used to treat him like a slave, and he ended up creating materials like manure. But some people think that it's the white who created everything, and we have African Americans who created them. Me personally, I used to believe that gas masks were created by whites. Oh boy, was I wrong? It was an African American called Garrett Morgan.
I am so happy for you that you get to learn this at such an early age, that you in Kenya are learning about George Washington Carver is huge, 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 huge. And they talk about him and how he would talk to the plants. He used to say he would talk to the plants. He had a relationship with the plants, right? That's a great man to look into, especially now that we are trying to reclaim our food security. I don't know about you children, but you've seen lately that our parents now are dependent on the grocery store. We no longer have a shamba. We no longer are getting food from the shamba. We are going to the grocery store. And as long as we're going to the grocery store, we're buying food from elsewhere, right? Thomas Sankara said this: if you want to know that you are, I'm misquoting him slightly, I might be, if you're oppressed, look at your plate. Or who is controlling you, look at your plate. The food that's on your plate is going to tell you whether you're oppressed or not, is essentially whether you're being exploited or not. So if you have ngwashe, kitungu, dania from the garden, you're living the life of liberty. You're good. But if you have, oh my goodness, I just got a back McDonald's, I don't know, frozen chicken from where, and something I bought from the store that says it was made in, wait, which place is Brazil is sending food to Kenya from Brazil. You look at your grocery bag, it says made in Brazil, shipped from Brazil, shipped from China, shipped from this, everywhere but Africa. Then you know you're being exploited, right? So here's the thing we're going to talk about in our last minutes. Let me look at the chat. Africans, they should refer to themselves as US citizens, not Americans. And children, that's another thing too we're going to talk about. And I'll send messages to your teachers, or I'll share videos that we've talked about these conversations with your teachers so that they can teach you. It's important the terms we're going to start using, right? Instead of calling them Black Americans, instead of calling them African Americans, we start calling each other one thing, Wana Ubuntu, all of us, whether we're in America or not. We're gonna Wana Ubuntu at home, which is on the continent, and Wana Ubuntu abroad, which is they call the diaspora, right? And we'll explain the importance of all of those. I'll share videos where we're talking about that. But this is what I wanted to share with the community and to hear more about. Your teachers have chosen Malcolm X as the ancestor that you're going to be studying, as the revolutionary, the icon that you're in our community you're going to be studying for the semester. So that means from kindergarten, the little ones who are not with us today but are with us will be learning about Malcolm X all the way to high school. The whole school will be learning about Malcolm X. So how do you feel about that? What are you looking forward to? What are you doing in that interaction? Because it's going to play a part not just in the classroom in your reading, but also in everything that you do in your arts, and everything is going to fall under this. So let me hear your thoughts about this, that you're going to have Malcolm X as the person you're studying throughout the semester.
Ben is. So what I think about this is very fantastic. It helps me to know more and more about Malcolm X, to know about racism, what he talked about, to embrace my black skin, my beautiful hair, my handsome hair. To know everything about him is just amazing to me. Because if I didn't know anything about any African icon, I wouldn't be embracing my black skin. I wouldn't be embracing my culture. I wouldn't be doing anything about Africa. I would just say that this was created by a white person, and no black person is or an African is great than a white person. But as soon as I knew all the African icons, including Malcolm X, I gained knowledge about the culture, about to embrace everything that I own in this motherland of mine. And I shouldn't be feared. I should be feared by the whites. And
hey, tell them
about me in every way possible. So that I'm a lion, that I'm a great African, very great, and I can do anything I put to my mind to. Thank you.
Yes, tell them, let them know. Who else? Let them know you're a lion. I love it.
I'm looking.
Okay, for me, being like,
sorry, I couldn't help myself. He just said that was such an African response. All right, go ahead.
Okay, as for me, when I came to this school, I never knew about anything, and then I was like, oh, these people are calling themselves Africans. I'm not even proud of being called my name, yet they are calling me an African. My dreams are big to go into this land known as Miami, Florida. I love that place, but for now I see that why can't I make my home that place that I want to go by using the resources that we have got. when I came to this school for the first day in the parade of down here, I heard them saying something that was really was not even in my mind. Was like I was like, these people are joking. What they trying to say? I wish they can say for you right now. You hear what they are trying to say, and then just try to think who I was trying to be, and then now who they are trying to make me be. So as classmates, schoolmates, I would like you to say that stuff with our sister. Mimi ni mweusi.
Mimi ni mweusi, mimi niko na melanin, mimi napendeza, mimi ni mtu wa nguvu, mimi ni Mwafrika.
So what they just said, for those of you who have not reached out to Mbongi Ubuntu to learn Kiubuntu, is I am, say it one more time because I forgot the first one.
Mimi ni mweusi,
I am black.
mimi niko na melanin,
I have melanin.
mimi napendeza,
I am pleasing. I am beautiful. I am attractive.
mimi ni mtu wa nguvu,
I have strength.
mimi ni Mwafrika.
I'm an African. That's a great motto. So when do you say that motto? When do you say that how do we call it? That statement of assurance. When do you say it? On what occasion?
That is every morning.
Every morning in assembly you say that?
Yeah, no, as in classes, we try to make ourselves remember who we really are.
So in the morning when you start classes, this is what you say.
Yeah, it's like a mantra.
Listen, y'all. Like these are and I know there are many schools, and I'm looking forward to connecting you with the schools here in the United States who started before you this practice of teaching from an African perspective. So I'm looking forward to connecting you, and you can learn the history of that movement in the United States, in brothers and sisters here abroad. But to have our children every day be able to remind themselves who they are in that way, that powerful way, instead of reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. This is what we're talking about. So in the United States, in the schools, they require them to recite the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States. So instead of that, exactly, that reaction is very appropriate. So instead of saying I to the United States, which is a country that is exploiting and oppressing people, to say that I am black, I have melanin, I am beautiful, I'm attractive, I am strong, and I'm an African every morning is powerful. So kudos to Dr. Otheri and all the teachers, the director. I'm forgetting Dr. Otheri's husband's name, Ole or Ode?
Oku.
Eh?
Oku Kanayo.
Oku, thank you, Oku Kanayo and Otheri Kanayo. Thank you so much for starting this. Thank you so much, teachers, for standing by them and helping them continue this. And thank you, students, because without you, there's no school. Oku Kanayo and Dr. Otheri Kanayo would be sitting there waiting for students, just looking at themselves with their idea. But the whole team makes the school, right? And this is what we talk about in African culture. Every single part of our community is important. And with one part not functioning well, the community is not strong. Do you have any questions for us? Do you have any words of wisdom you want us to leave with? Teachers, do you have any questions, any comments? Any call to action? How can we support the school?
Before that, I was saying that for the empowerment and for that making us remember who we really are, made me think more about. It took time for me to get understanding and to get I'm used to it and I'm it, and I will try to do more than the way I was. So these teachers who we love very much taught us very many things. So when we closed school, it's when we were talking about with my mom. She's there where you are right now. So she was in Kikuyu. She used to talk fluent Kikuyu, but now when we went home, when we were talking, I realized that she was like rubbing or anything like that.
Hey, mama amesahau Kikuyu na Kendi. Go on.
So it was like we in our home we try to make it like everybody should know it's compulsory. It's not that you want to know or you don't want. So when I wanted to talk to her, and then I told her Wemwega, and then she started like she told it was in the theme that backwards it was not there. So I tried to tell her that in history we learned that when people go there, they start changing because of the climates of the hot. And then I told her, then you'll have to come back because we can't lose you because of what and what. So she was like, in that school that I took you, that's the great place to be because you need nubbing. You have everything that you have got that you need. So get learning, don't lose your culture. Even if I am, then that's why we say that we will be talking after every night. We pray together, making sure that we don't get separated, even if your family, even if other people stay far away. Thank you.
Yes, and the thing I'll say to you is when you talk to your mom, talk to her in Kikuyu, right? When you're on the phone with her. So that's the thing I do. I moved here, and a lot of us move here because our families want us to do well. They want us to make money, right? It's needed. You know, the economy is bad at home. But we come here and we realize we don't want to be here. But a way that I keep my Kikamba is every time I call my mom, I'm speaking Kikamba. If I'm with my family here, I speak Kikamba. If I'm around Kambas, I speak Kikamba. Now when I'm with people who in my community, I speak Ubuntu, right? All the time. The more you speak and the more you read and listen to that language, you will not lose it. So tell mom when you speak to her next time, first of all, say it to her in Kikuyu. But tell her every time moving forward, the calls that you're going to have with her are going to be in Kikuyu. How do you say Kiingereza in Kikuyu? Tutararuga Kiingereza anymore. Tutakuwa tukiongea, I forget how you say it. Tutararuga Kikuyu. Moving forward, we'll be speaking Kikuyu on the phone. So that way she doesn't lose it, because that's part of it. If you're not using it, you're going to lose it. Anything else? Parting words? Tutarauga. Turauga. Koga is the word, right? Koga is to speak in Kikuyu. Yeah, koga. Koga is to cook. Yeah, all right. Who else?
Okay, so what I wanted to say before I was
rudely interrupted.
is if I somehow become
That's okay. That's your computer telling you something, but we're good. I can still hear you. Go on.
If I somehow become Malcolm X, yeah, then the white people should start running away.
Hey, he just put a warning on you. God help you all if he does become Malcolm X, because you all just and this is important that I say this to you children, right? This is because Malcolm says this. Sorry, Malcolm does say this. Let me get that quote and quote it. I believe in human beings, and that all human beings should be respected as such, regardless of color, right? When Malcolm was younger, or earlier in his revolution, a white woman came to him and she asked to help. And he sent her away and told her that was not her space, right? He sent her away and told her, you go work on your people, right? But later in life, he admits that he should have actually explained to her in detail. He should have embraced her willingness to help and guided her in which way she can help best. Here's what we're saying. We're not saying that we do not like white people and we are going to destroy all white people, right? Let's make this very clear. We're saying, as long as you're coming for us, we will defend ourselves, which is what Malcolm said. As long as you're trying to take away who we are, we will defend ourselves. As long as you're trying to rip our continent and exploit it, we will defend ourselves. We're not going to stand by and let you continue to use, abuse, and exploit us. We're going to stand up for ourselves, right? If you say we cannot grow food in our country, we'll say no, we will grow food in our country. If you say we cannot save our original seeds, we have to take over GMO, we know GMO is harmful, we'll say no, we're going to grow our original seeds. If you say to us, we cannot give subsidies to the farmers, subsidies means when times are tough, the government can give some farmers money to help with the challenges that they're facing. So currently, the Kenyan government has been stopped by the IMF. This is a conversation for another day, children. It's a whole big conversation. They're not allowed, most African countries by the IMF, they're not allowed to give subsidies to the farmers, which means in times of struggle, for example, the big flood you all had, and a lot of farmers had their food washed away in a situation like that. If a farmer now that the flooding has stopped and the ground is good, they can start growing, they need some money from the government because they had a huge loss. If they need some money from the government to plant some more and to do their farming, the government gives that. That's a subsidy. So the IMF is saying, no, you cannot do that if you want our loans. So another conversation for another day. And Malcolm is saying we should say no, IMF, no, which is what Thomas Sankara did. Mwalimu Maina, Mwalimu Mwangi, you have any final thoughts? Let us know how those who are listening and those who will end up listening to this video can support what is going on in the school.
Okay, first of all, is maybe appreciating you for this kind of a session. It is still instilling a lot of courage, confidence in our students, regardless of the foreign affairs or maybe any Eurocentered kind of an influence that is being used. They are in a position of avoiding all those tools that are being used against us. Talk of the syllabus, talk of the curriculum. We are running through a system that is made elsewhere, and our natural resources or our curriculum that we should be learning or be using is put aside.
Yes.
This is a kind of an eye-opening session that will help us take our positions as Africans. And you have promised that maybe I'll take it as a responsibility to remind you, maybe you connecting us with schools that are like-minded. It will be so much grateful for us interacting with people out there who are having the same mindset and are ready to take a position, decolonize their mind, and give the truth to the children. Not narrative work created and covered our greatness, and we are now seen as people who are lesser individuals. Asante sana.
Karibu, asante sana mwalimu.
Maybe in addition to that, I'll say that we as teachers are trying by all means to try and help or open the minds of these kids. And also we try and use different resources like books. And I can see you're quite relevant with Afrocentric books, African books that can nurture these children to become purposeful and well decisive people in life. Okay, so we have tried to stock some books in our library, but I think one of the major challenges we have in Kenya is to get these books, because even in the bookshops and areas where you can get these resources, you find majority of them don't specialize or don't bring such books. Just find Eurocentric kind of books, the likes of is it Romeo and Juliet and such. The books we need are not readily available. I think what we are building here, we are building a group of writers who will come and even write more about what they are learning about Afrocentrism and send it to all parts of the world. So even if we can get more links to these kind of books from your end. I think it can be quite beneficial. Also think that some things that we can do here is try do some maybe community services where the children can go out there and educate the masses, okay, or even do something in memory of someone like Malcolm X, pass a message. So you'll find, apart from this school, Kenyan students don't even know. Leave students, even teachers, majority of Kenyan teachers don't know even who Malcolm X is.
Yeah.
They don't know. Okay, so I think we can take it. We can even, they are quite creative, so they can even come up with projects, or things related to that. And some of these things we can share to you, but also if you have ideas of how we can tweak teaching and expounding on this, I think it will be of great help. Yeah.
So two things quickly as we wrap up, two things given what was said. I recommend, when I was going to school back at home in Kenya, the one thing we did a lot was debates. Like we would go from school to school doing debates. I was in PB in Kilungu, and would have like all the schools in Nairobi come with their buses and would have a debate session on a Saturday. So one thing you can do, given that you're studying Malcolm this semester, reach out to the schools around you, host a debate session, and tell them we're going to be debating about Malcolm. Pick one of the things that he stood for and say, this is what we'll debate on. What that does is it forces those schools and those students to now research Malcolm, right? Because they have to prepare for the debate. So one thing I would encourage you, given that you're studying Malcolm this semester, is host a debate in your school and invite the neighborhood schools to come for a debate session one of the weekends or one of the days that you can do it. And then you'll have, if you invite 10 schools, you have 10 schools and multiple students who will now know about Malcolm, because they have to prepare for the debate. As far as the books, I went to Source of Knowledge, and thank you for saying it because it reminded me, I'm going to give a shout out to Source of Knowledge in Newark, New Jersey. I went there early this week to reach out to them about getting books for you. We're able, Mbongi ya Ubuntu is going to assist in getting books for the teachers, but we want to write a grant. And for those of you who are listening, for those of you who have contacts, reach out to us. I'm going to put the email in the chat, ustawi@jumuiya-ya-nguzo-saba.org or ustawi@mbongi-ya-ubuntu.org. So reach out to us if you know any foundations that can give money. We already have the grant prepared. So the books I got will only be for the teachers. The bookstore agreed to giving us a nice discount, so we're able to get them for a good price. And they also, while I was there, advised me on getting, because we were going to get just 3 books. We were talking about the autobiography, the one juxtaposing Dr. King. I think it's The Sword and the Shield. And we had one more, I forget which other one we were talking about. But when I went to the bookstore, because they are experts, right? They told me, they're teaching from kindergarten to high school? I said, yeah, they're teaching from kindergarten to high school. They said, so we recommend this for the little ones. We recommend these for the age group after that. We recommend this for these ones. We recommend for this. So the way I'll send the books is, for the kindergarten, there's a book that's out that was written by Malcolm's daughter that is for their age group, and they can use that book. So yes, we're going to write a grant and see whether we can get every student to have a copy of the book. And like I said, the community, those of you who are listening and you know people foundations who are doing this work that we can send the grant to, reach out to us and we will do that to get the books. We are hoping it would be ideal if we can get the books in 2 weeks, because they need these books to do the work in this semester. So the time is against us. So let's get moving. Anything else?
So adding to what my teachers are saying is just to say that as Africans, we should stand strong against colonization of our minds. We should remember that only a black man was shot 25 times.
I like
21.
that you're reminding us that. I like that you're reminding us that, because people jump over that fact. Like, they used so many bullets to take him down. Go on, brother. Go on.
They fear that he may then wake up and just continue decolonizing the minds of those who are just colonized. So we should stand strong against what is not right. We should always be on the same track as Africans. We should always head on one target, that's uniting Africa, to get a United States of Africa. Because that ideology was back in Africa, they came and stole it and called United States of America. What's the difference? Only America and Africa. So it means that they came and stole our name. We should regain that name. We should regain our greatness and our title as Africa and fight for our land. Because without our land, we don't have identity. And without our identity, we are nothing. We are like puppets without our identity as Africans. We should just be open. Be open about our truth. Our heroes have been killed, just assassinated, because they fear that Africans are stronger than them when they are united. And that's what we should do. We should unite Africa, and our greatness will change the world. Thank you.
Asante sana, Kamau. One thing I'm going to say to you is that name, United States of Africa, first of all, is being said in a colonizer's language, English, right? So that's not full liberation. So we're going to move past that. We're going to find an African language to call our unity, to define it. And being that Kiubuntu is the language of unity, we need to have it in use. So umoja wa nsi ya Ubuntu, right? Umoja wa nsi, I'll put it in the chat. Umoja wa nsi ya Ubuntu. Let's take that instead of the United States of Umoja wa nsi ya Ubuntu. Or let's have conversation, let's chat, right? For those of you, tell your teachers what name you think we should have for the unity of Africa in an African language. So we're not even going to use that. We're going to give it to them. You want to take it, take it. Take it and keep it. It is your language after all. So let's find a name that describes our unity in our own language. I thank you all so much. I look forward to many, 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 many more conversations with you. I look forward to connecting you with other people in the community. And I appreciate you for being brave enough to come in front of masses and share your thoughts. Asanteni sana, Walimu Mwangi, Maina, and everyone else at the school. All right. Siku njema, kwaherini. All right, hold on. Everyone, thank you so much. Thank you for being with us. You can stay on, Mwalimu Maina. You don't have to log off. Just stay on quickly.